And once again, it says I'm live, but then it shows just the waiting screen. So this is where I have to have the intro so I can know that that happens. I'm working on that. I'm working on a soundtrack today. Maybe I found one. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll see. I fell down the AI rabbit hole today once again. Just how it can transform still photographs into movement and make it look pretty realistic is getting creepy. Let's put it that way. It's getting creepy. Um, yeah, it'll only get better or worse. Deep, deep fakes. At some point, we won't need actors. And there'll be actors that are no longer with us in new movies because they'll be able to deep fake them so well that they'll look like they're part of it. It's going to be crazy. Crazy. Part of the crazy jumping all the way to 2024, the thing that made me laugh the most was that today was the day that RFK admits that he put a dead bear cub in Central Park 10 years ago. Now 11. But again, I, I have so many questions that I did not bother to look up because I didn't have time. It got late and I realized it was like 1 minute to 11. But where did the bear cub come from in the first place? Why is it dead? Why does he have it? Why does he take it from where it's dead and then transport it to Central Park? It's just this entire litany of crap that I'm just like, I don't understand that. I will have to look it up. And if you know, that's great. That's awesome. Sub brother Don. But just, I just find that to be, that's one of those things that I just feel like I have so many questions that are unanswered. Lots of things are unanswered, but that just seems to be one. I'm like, just wait, start here and explain the whole story. I know it'll take a really long time, but what the hell, man? Today is National Oyster Day. I did not have any oysters. I had meatballs and I had pasta and I had Carfagno's chicken salad, which is really, really good. And I had salami. So I had a really, really meaty food day. So I'm sure that I knocked minutes off my life after knowing that a hot dog takes 37 minutes and processed meat like salami takes minutes as well. So shortened the lifespan just a tad bit today. I don't think I added a whole bunch. It's also National Underwear Day. I guess supposed to wear something spiffy and underweary. I wore clean underwear. That was my National Underwear Day. Clean underwear. That's as far as in fancy I go as underwear. Just clean. I try and make sure I put clean underwear on daily. Clean. Work like a dog day. The idiom work like a dog, which I guess we know what the idiom of like raining cats and dogs. Because I was like, the idiom is basically words that are sort of non sequitur words, like you know what it means though. Like raining cats and dogs literally doesn't mean it's raining cats and dogs, but you know what that means. Like in America, to kick the bucket, we know what that means to die, but you don't literally kick the bucket. You know, you're not kicking a bucket. Dead. But that's an idiom. It's also National Night Out Day, so it's supposed to be nice to and have conversations with the police and the protectors of the community. Tomorrow, it's National Fresh Breath Day. I will try my best to be fresh breathed. I knew a guy when I used to work with, his name was Bernie. We called him Bad Breath Bernie because, wow, had the worst halitosis ever. I mean, it was one of those things just stood you up and turned you around at 20 paces. It's National Root Beer Float Day. I don't know. I could take or leave a root beer float. I don't know. Root beer floats are, again, maybe if you're like at Stewart's on the boardwalk, but I don't know. A root beer float to me is Take it or leave it. I'm just maybe because I'm not a huge root beer fan. It has to be really good root beer. So I don't know. Social Engineering Day, didn't look it up, have no idea what they're referring to. Social engineering, like social media engineering or engineering society, or it's deep. Clearly a deep, deep one that I just didn't go for. He found the bear as roadkill. He was going to take it home for meat, got delayed, decided to abandon it. Again, it's just all of it. That's even worse, I guess. The story just seems even more bizarre. Okay, just you stop for roadkill. I mean, it sounds like something the Beverly Hillbillies would do. Jed Clampett. I saw myself down there, and there was a what? There was a bear on the side of the road. And why? Just throw it in a dumpster. Why would you put it in the park? Thought maybe like it was going to be foraged or something. I just, all of it. So it came out the bear because he was telling Roseanne Barr, and she recorded it and posted it online. Of course it did. Of course it did. That's how we see a lot of this stuff. Again, I saw more about the alien invasion from this thing that's coming across the universe. You know, of course it's on the internet. You don't really see like NASA come in. It's like, yeah, we see it. It's a rock. And it's also National Wiggle Your Toes Day, which I did have to look because I was like, what? I was like, okay, I guess that's also National Foot Fetish Day. So get your naked tootsies out there and wiggle them in the grass and dip them in water and whatever else. So National Foot Fetish Day is also tomorrow, apparently, if you are so inclined. Just saying. Just saying. All right. This, comment on it. That's all I'm going to do. Don't even watch it at this point. Just comment on it. More me. More Randy. Let's see. Historical stuff. I was watching a YouTube video that was showing the biggest historical mistakes. It had all sorts of crazy stuff in there of just ridiculous things that people have said or done that have changed world history and changed the course of things over time by blunders or mistakes or doing nefarious deeds. So it's just interesting. 1305, today is the day that William Wallace, the movie Braveheart, was captured by the English and then convicted and executed. Not on the same day, but today was the day that they captured William Wallace, the Scottish rebel. Braveheart, good old Mel Gibson portrayed. 1864 was the Battle of Mobile Bay. Now, I only found this interesting for the fact that it was won by the Union Navy Rear Admiral David Farragut. Okay? And this guy was a badass. All right? He absolutely was a badass. Sort of read the whole thing about, mom died, 11 years old, dad was a Navy guy, and this guy was just like, he was a Navy admiral, rear admiral, it's just all of it. But the reason I brought it up is because he is the one that is quoted with, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." And I guess so what happened was they were in a battle and torpedoes were basically like mines, floating mines. They call them torpedoes. So they were going to go capture this naval battle, and fog's coming in and whatever, and the guy climbs the mast and his crew thought he was going to fall, so they strap him to the mast up high. A ship gets blown up, and he basically, people started to back up and stuff, and his quote was, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." And they wound up winning. Most of the ships, including his, got through, and the day was saved, and they won the Battle of Mobile Bay, a fortified stronghold. But yes, that's why I said David Farragut gets my admiration today for "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." from 1864. Who knew? You do now. 1884, the cornerstone of the Statue of Liberty is laid. I read something today where it was somebody complaining, basically France saying that we suck and they should have it, that we should not have the Statue of Liberty anymore because of just all the things that we're supposed to be that we aren't right now. I was like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. The first world traveler's checks in 1891 by American Express were issued. Guess they were still there. 1914. So we talked about this because I was talking about Asheville. It has the longest running, which is still sketchy to me, traffic light in the world. But on this date, 1914, the first electric traffic light was installed at East 105th Street and Euclid Avenue in Cleveland. So that is, I knew it was Cleveland, but I didn't realize it was 105th Street and Euclid Avenue. I think I've been across that intersection at some point in my life. So there you go. Cleveland, Ohio, first electric traffic light. 1926, Houdini escapes an underwater coffin after 90 minutes. I don't know if I would be able to do that. I mean, not the whole escape thing, but yeah, the idea of being in a coffin underwater is bad enough, but like 90 minutes, man, that's a long time to be in a coffin space underwater. Clearly it didn't leak, because if it leaked, he would not have made it. But yeah, that's just claustrophobic things. You know, I'm not like elevator claustrophobic, but yeah, like spelunking, I've said before, I would definitely not be like, okay, let's go under this. No. That just seems a little too claustrophobic. I mean, that's the exact word. 1936, Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde kills C.G. Matwell and Deputy Eugene Moore. First lawmen killed by Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde. I didn't see how many he did, but yeah, it was a run. All the movies were true. He really was like on the run, just like a killing machine, just shooting everybody in sight. 1936, Jesse Owens wins his third of 4 gold medals, this time for the 200 meter in 20.7 seconds. Good old Jesse Owens of here, Ohio State University. Again, well, there's lots of stuff named for him. From Here to Eternity is released. Best Picture of 1954 and 1953. 1957, American Bandstand appears on ABC TV. Dick Clark's American Bandstand, who then had an illustrious career with all sorts of stuff until he, I guess, is no more. Dick Clark. The Beatles released singles, The Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby, in the UK on this day. Also, they released the album of Revolver. So they didn't release the whole Yellow Submarine album, but the single Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby today, but they released the Revolver album all in the UK, not in the US, as they should. 1972, the Moody Blues reissue Whites and Night Satin, which goes to number 2, but it was originally released in 1967 and didn't see much notoriety. So I guess they said, well, we'll just re-release it. It sounds like movies. This one, we'll just remake it. This will be the 7th version of Superman or the Spider-Man or something. I guess, what would Fantastic Four, we have the multitude version of it. You know, they just keep making them because they think we like that. I don't know. I'm just not sure about that. But I killed a total of 13 people. 9 were law enforcement. Whoa! That's crazy. That's a lot. Damn. Bonnie and Clyde. You live close to the Cleveland intersection. Very cool. No, they must have some sort of memorial plaque or something there. I'm sure the original traffic light's not there, but they must have something denoting said traffic light. We'll have to see. 1974 also, Joan Jett formed the band The Runaways. I think there was a movie that was The Runaways and she was in it. Maybe. I think so. I'm trying to remember now, but anyway. 1975, Stevie Wonder signed a 7-album, 7-year deal with Motown and received a $13 million advance. Not bad for 1974 prices. Jeez. That's pretty gigantic. 1981, we talked about this the other day. The air traffic controllers went on strike. Ronald Reagan said, if you don't get back to work in 48 hours, I'm going to fire you. So, sure to his word, Ronald Reagan fired 11,500 striking air traffic controllers in 1981 on this day. Now, you've got to think that would have affected air traffic safety. I would think. I don't know. But that seems like that's a lot of people to get fired from a job that there's not that many. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know how many air traffic controllers there were in total, but man, that sounds like, there's nobody left protecting the planes. Just land that one over there. Oh, there's other ones? It just sounds unsafe. I don't know if there must have been you would think there could have been a better compromise than just firing that many people, but all right. Mine is not the question why. 1983, Crosby of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young receives a 5-year sentence in Texas for drug and weapons conviction. So he went to jail for that. That's I remember I believe he did do that too. So 1994, Billy Idol admitted to hospital after an OD in Los Angeles. Oh, Billy. What is Billy Idol lip? And Hesh in 2022 crashed her car into a house that ignites it ignites the house in fire, destroys the house, basically, completely. There was all sorts of controversy about this, like, what was going on? Was it, this was conspiracy theory heaven, the Anne Hesh crash, because, they covered her and didn't cover her and this and this. She wound up dying 7 days later. So I'll be talking about that on the 12th, apparently. The Anne Hesh will be in the dead list. In 2023, I remember this for sure. The waterfront brawl in Montgomery, Alabama makes national and international news. Remember that riverboat captain? It was a bunch of couple boats docked where the riverboat was supposed to dock, and they basically were like, we're not moving our damn boats. And the riverboat captain was like, you're going to move your damn boat. Chairs were flying, and basically got into this giant brawl with these chuckleheads. So today's the anniversary of that. I had to look up the video and watch it, and I was like, oh, man. There's cameras everywhere, people. Just so you know, you're constantly being watched. There's very unlikely that you can do just about anything unless you are intentionally avoiding cameras that someone will not see. And even if you are avoiding them, someone's still going to most likely see it. That's how that works. And then, of course, as I said, in 2024, RFK admits to putting a dead bear in Central Park 10 years prior. But again, Don had helped me out with that one because, it was roadkill. He was going to take it home for meat, got delayed, and decided to abandon it. Which all of that just sounds like you have a worm in your brain. Again, it sounds like the people portraying the Simpsons that are the hillbillies that or from Vacation where he can't eat squirrel meat anymore because it's high in cholesterol. Just I don't know. I guess that's just me. there is a store, and if you are so inclined, you can go do that. Or you can hunt a deer if you're really so inclined to do that. But I guess just picking up roadkill, you would think, unless it's really fresh roadkill, like, did you run it over? That's why I had the question. How long was it sitting there because meat goes bad? And just still the questions rage on that I'm sure I won't get answered. Just saying. Born on this day, 1862. Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. We talked about Bowie did the Elephant Man in Colorado a few weeks back. Well, not literally, but on the date a few weeks back. I did not look that one up, but that was an interesting one. 1930, Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon from Wapakoneta, Ohio. So did he really step on the moon? Yes, he stepped on the moon. Okay. It wasn't made in a studio in Hollywood. Don't think that was it. Actor John Saxon. He was in Nightmare on Elm Street and a couple others. Had to go with sports. Just never with sports. But 1937, Herb Brooks. 1980 gold medal hockey coach, the Miracle on Ice. Had to go with that one because that's significant. That was a good one. Movies were made of that one and everything else. So, died the other day, 1945, Lonnie Anderson. As I said, she died 2 days ago. She was part of the whole birthday death thing. About 10% more likely to die on or close to your birthday. So maybe she was trying to hold on to it. She was trying to make that 80th birthday and just didn't make it. Tried. Rick Derringer, 1947, another Ohio guy from Fort Recovery, Ohio. He's the guy who does Hang On Sloopy. Apparently he's the one who's credited with it. So there you go. David Hungate of Toto, birthday today. 1956, Maureen McCormick. Marsha. I always thought that the woman who played like the recent Marsha, who also has been in like Dodgeball, looked very much like her, more so than her at some point. I don't know what that actress's name is, but it's definitely not Maureen McCormick because she's like 70. But Marsha's birthday today. 1957, Pete Burns of Dead or Alive. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Birthday today. Pat Smear of the Foo Fighters. Birthday today. 1961, Tawny Kitaen. Actress who was in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks, but more probably remembered because of her White Snake video debut when she was on the hood of the Firebird or wherever it was in the White Snake video. Yadam Yak of the Beastie Boys, also born on this day in 1964. James Gunn, born on this day. Guardians of the Galaxy. Director and some other fun movies. And 1974, our very own Frankie Hayduck, gold medal Olympian winner from the 1996 soccer team. Frankie Hayduck, the mascot, not the mascot, but the minister of propaganda of the Columbus Crew. Good old Frankie. Always a wild time with that man. Let's see. Deaths today. Richard Burton, actor. Richard Burton. Elizabeth Taylor's longtime on-off Richard Burton. Paul Brown, the Cleveland Browns. Paul Brown Stadium, named after him. I'm going to butcher this name. Soichiro Honda of Honda. And then we had a birthday of someone in Toto, and then Jeff Pecora of Toto died today. Not today, but this is the anniversary of his death. So we have a birthday, and then one of your bandmates dies on your birthday. So not so great. I mean, that kind of takes away from a little bit. I scratched my hand, cut my hand on a nail today, like scraped my palm, and it's just been stinging. It's not very deep, but it's just one of these like little, like right across the palm here. Just annoying every time I move it. I've got that whole bloody knuckle thing that I told you I cut with a scissor. You can see it looks like a U. I've got to be more careful. At least I'm careful around power tools. You know, a nail was immobile. It was just sticking out of a board that apparently was not taken out. I'm usually pretty anal retentive about removing nails from boards after having stepped on some in other parts of my life. My worst stepping on nails story is where I grew up. We had a very big backyard. It was a wooded backyard, about an acre of fairly dense woods. You know, we would ride motorbikes back there and build forts and tree houses and, you know, feral children. I was like 4 houses away from an elementary school. So there was a lot of woods so we could go and, you know, that's where the kids would party and everything else. And we had a very low fence, mostly just dead trees and, you know, grass clippings and stuff, sort of demarking the property lines between the neighbors that were behind us, that was way up on the street, and then the neighbors on the side. And my worst experience of stepping on a nail ever was jumping over the fence that was there, about a 4-foot fence, and landing on a board with a nail sticking up. It still gives me the willies to this day. Through my foot, through the shoe, top and bottom. So it stuck out of the top of the shoe. You know, it's one of those things where screaming isn't going to do much. So I don't believe I made much noise except like, ah, and then, you know, debated on how I'm going to get my foot off of this thing and get back, because it was on a giant board, so it wasn't going with me. So yes, I had to yank my foot off, you know, with my arms, like, because you can't really, your muscles don't, you just can't do it. Oh yeah, I'm just going to pull my foot off that. Yeah, you can't, because it's your brain's like, that's why you have enough strength in your jaw to bite your finger off, but you can't. Well, at least most normal people can't. I'm sure someone could if they were something wrong, but you can't bite hard enough. Your brain won't let you bite your own finger off. So you can't just lift your leg off of a nail. You have to grab your leg and kind of it up. So I still have a scar on the top of my foot from that to this day. I also like black mark. See that black mark? That's right there. That was from when I was a kid. I mean, single digits probably, playing with an ice pick and a candle. And I went through the top of the candle, through the side of the candle, through the side of my hand, and it poked out over here, a little soft part of my hand. So I've got a little scar on this side and a little black mark that's still there to this day that I've had since I was a kid. So, yeah. And again, of course, I didn't go to the hospital. That was definitely not in my purview as a child. You know, rub a little dirt on it, Johnny, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to switch cameras because, see, this time I actually caught the camera before it went ahead and clicked off. So I was really paying attention. So I'm proud of myself for paying attention. All right. I'm going to keep it brief this evening, right around 30 minutes, so that people can get on with their lives. Because I don't have anything overly grandiose to share other than the events of the day. Because I didn't get to do much today. It was a very busy work day. I got a lot done, but I didn't get much done at all, if that makes sense. I worked like a dog, but I accomplished a lot, but there weren't a lot of things that got done that accomplished a lot, if that makes sense. It's just, yeah, you have to be there. I'm also tired, and I just I don't want to sit here and I could recant some other things that I was thinking about, but at just this point, I'm just a little tired. I think I'm staving off the cold that some other people have that I've associated with in the not so distant days. So I'm just trying to, eat some zinc, take some airborne, mega dose that vitamin C, and try and keep the health at a relatively thing standard. Football is coming. I can't believe that. We're going to have the football and the students back, and it's just going to be overwhelming again. The whole fall thing is here. So get ready for traffic and all those things that happen when you add 50,000 people to a city that you happen to live right next to. Anyway, thanks for being here. Don't forget, go to this thing, find it, Heinz Verified, Day Tripping, and just make comments. Just make comments at this point. All right? That's all I need. I just need comments so I can go ahead and figure something out here. Try my best. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your Tuesday because it was garbage day. And I will see you again tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll do this completely similar or different. I don't know. Be well, and as always, fade to black.